BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. So welcome to this other 50 minutes of experience. Today I'm with Sarah Fuchs, photographer based in London. She's 26 years old and she travels, I think, a lot, and because she's a documentary photographer. She born in Norway, and let's see what Sarah today has to share with us with her experience.
Hey, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm very honored to be invited onto your podcast. It's different, I guess, from what I'm used to doing. It's not often you get to talk about your work, I guess, and the images that you shoot. So I guess it's a new experience for me as well.
Yeah, really? It's a usually you are talking, you are doing podcast and talking about photography, or is more general talking about something else? Tell me more.
No, I mean, usually I would, I share my images and then maybe I'll write a little bit about them, but there's not that much focus maybe on the process behind it or the thoughts behind the images or
I see.
yeah.
So yeah, this podcast is totally focused on the person is behind, but especially on the what is the opportunity you take every time taking picture to connect with the world or with other people or different point of reality. And I've seen recently you uploaded different picture. Yeah, you had an evolution in your also style of taking picture, and I see much more. You are totally more inside of the picture. I mean, it's a good level up. And
Yeah.
I want to suggest also, if the person are listening us, if they want follow you on Instagram, they can search you as Sarah.Fuchs. It's I think it's a work deserve to be seen, the level up continuously in the life. So did you prepare something to share with us today, or we can just let free our 50 minutes?
Yeah, I thought a lot about it because it's only really, I think, a year and a half ago that I decided that I wanted to do photography full time. And so I feel like I'm still a bit in this journey of figuring out exactly what I want to do. And for every style of photography or type of images that I take, I learn something new and then I move on from it. And so I guess I'm still trying to find my way in my style within the genre or within photography. But I think there's particularly one story that sort of made me realize this is what I want to do. And so I thought maybe I'd talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, totally. I'm totally open for the story, and I'm curious because I think, especially in this way of the talking and not of writing, because we had the first experience together in interview of writing. It's totally different when you can touch the tone of the person and you can touch in a way the emotion, totally the person you are listening. So please share with us.
Yeah. So it's a story from South Korea, and I was living there for 7 months last year. And I was doing something totally different. I had an office job there for a while, and it wasn't correct for me. And so I kind of turned to my camera to give me a break from what was a bit of a boring day job. And I traveled to this island at the south of South Korea, and I encountered this group of women there. And I'm going to totally butcher this, but in Korean it's called Hanyeo. And translated, that means the sea women. And these are women who are like up in their 80s. They're very old, and they go free diving into the cold waters around this island. And they have this super tight-knit community where they take care of each other. It's sort of this spiritual, almost religious community where they sing before they dive. And South Korea is quite patriarchal. It's a very male-dominated society. But on this island, it's sort of these old women that are the bosses, and they're usually the main breadwinners of the families. And it's a very female-centered community. And for me to go, it was just magical, really, to travel there and to see them, to see how they work together, and to be able to photograph that. And up until that point, I'd sort of just taken pictures of things that I thought were beautiful or just triggered me in that moment. But I think that was sort of a turning point for me, where I realized I really want to focus on stories and telling stories. And yeah, so being on this island and seeing these women, it really inspired me to work more on stories and long form stories in photography. And it kind of changed, I guess, my direction more from travel to documentary photography and wanting to learn more about storytelling and focusing maybe also more on the women's stories and these kind of stories that you don't really see
Yeah,
around you that often.
totally. I think this is the right century to focus on that. So then is a right topic to focus right now, and especially for this too much domination about the male society. I think it's really what we deserve. I mean, I'm a male, but I grew up with my mother, and all of my life, most of the time, I was living just with my mother. So then, yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, my girlfriend say I have a touch. I don't know. In a way, I'm a girl. I have this touch of a girl. So then I feel like, yeah, also I have most of my friends are girls and not men, and I'm more connected with girls in general. So then, yeah, I really think it's really important that I'm not really agree with the different to make a difference between the gender, but I think the woman has a power in the, especially in the politics way, much more stronger than men, because men usually are the men, the thinker. They are not really in the politician stuff, and the one are more aggressive, impulsive. They are in the politician topic, and it's not really the field they need to be inside.
Yeah.
So I think we need more women in that, also because uh, I think the word turn around woman in general is the life turn around the woman. It's really interesting that, and I'm really curious to know during you was explaining the experience you had in South Korea. I was really interested to know if you will love to go back there and taking more picture, going more deep down, diving inside of the story of probably each singular woman or each singular day, spending more time trying the experience they are doing, or I don't know, yeah, just work with them some days also.
Definitely. I think it would be amazing to go back for a longer period. Also, because of something that I've um, been thinking a lot about with documentary photography, is that I very dislike this power that lies with the photographer in deciding the story and deciding what should be depicted and what shouldn't. And I'm trying now to make my photography more collaborative, and I still haven't figured this out, but I would like to do it more, so that the people whose stories I'm telling are also part in shaping their own stories. Because obviously, when I went there the first time, there's the language barrier. You're there for a shorter period of time. You take pictures of what you think is beautiful, but it's not necessarily telling the whole story.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I'm really curious to know also, do you shoot in analog, as I know? Do you shoot also in digital? I think, no?
Rarely.
Rarely.
Mostly, I keep coming back to my analog cameras. I sometimes when I do more like commercial shoots with artists and these things, I'll do some pictures in digital. Um, but I love analog photography. I love the way of photographing that it just slows you down. You have to be more thoughtful of the process, and you don't really know what you have until it comes out later on. So that's that like lovely surprise when you get the pictures and you're like, oh wow.
Yeah, sometimes it's also frustrating.
Yeah.
Recently, really, just 2 days ago, I was passing 3 days with my father. I didn't see for more than 1 year, and I took a lot of picture with this 35 millimeter. And then I realized that yeah, the roll was not going back, and I realized was stuck in a part, and I started to think, okay, probably I didn't shoot any of this picture.
Yeah.
And yeah, anyway, now I roll it the film, and I will try. I mean, I hope I will get back something, but
Yeah.
I'm
Sometimes
really
you can have
afraid.
some happy accidents, right?
I'm really afraid that to have lose this picture. Also because I think I did the picture so good, so amazing picture, and yeah, I tried also different perspective that usually I don't do it, and this make me really like, oh no, if I lose all the picture, what the fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like shooting with film, as this magic power of to the know to also I was saying yesterday in one of my lesson that sometimes I just accumulate film roll for 100 200 film roll, and then I go to develop all together, no, and they are mixed. So I don't know really which year is what was the time, exactly when I shooted this film, and sometimes even I forget totally the moment I was spending with this film. But in a way, I asked you that because as you want to be a documentary photographer, I'm really curious to know how do you spend your time usually during your days. So then, how much you shoot, and if you shoot a lot, if you, I don't know, doing like a film per week, a film per day, a film per month.
Yeah. I feel like under normal circumstances, I would shoot a lot, but COVID period has been really weird. And I think especially the last half year, I've struggled a lot finding inspiration because I've been way more at home. I haven't been traveling or moving around as much as I used to before. And I really need to move to stay curious and be in new places and, be a bit outside of my comfort zone because then you start noticing
Yeah.
everything around you. And now I've been in Amsterdam for the last year, and yeah, I haven't been shooting as much as I'd like, but I think the last weeks I started getting back into it again. I think also the summer weather has helped to just brighten up a bit, and now being in a new city as well is definitely exciting.
So recently, in the last podcast of yesterday with this photographer Suits, I challenged him to doing something for our next podcast. I would love to doing that also with you.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious. I mean, as a photographer, for sure, I'm curious, but as an editor, much more curious, and I push a bit, the people doing something. I have this touch to try to involve people in doing a new project or just going over them limit. And I would love to invite you to doing like more picture. It doesn't matter if it's in film picture or digital, but more picture during these months about your life, representing yourself.
Yeah.
Is a challenge. Then I would love to see this picture and say, okay, let's talk about that. What is the experience you got from that? Because sometimes I know we have this block of inspiration, but I think is there the magic of creativity, the creativity born not from the inspiration, because inspiration is something we most of the time get from outside, but the real creativity come from nothing. It's just there, and pushing us as no thinker. And when we don't think, in a way, we are doing. And
Yeah.
that's my challenge for you
Yeah.
from today.
Okay. Well, challenge accepted.
Because yeah, I have seen the your picture, so I follow you, and what I will love to know is more about what is inside of your life. And it's really curious that we are going to watch what is outside of our life. So then interested in the story of others, interested in what is outside. But I
Yeah.
think the magic is always inside of the life of the photographer.
That's
It's
the hardest
really,
stories to tell, aren't they? Our own stories.
yeah, it's harder. I can say that. I work at probably 5 years, something more, on my own project. So about talking about myself, and it was so difficult to edit this project,
Yeah.
because in a way you have to watch yourself as not yourself. So it's totally different approach than when I work with other photographers. Totally easy, but with myself it's totally wow. It's totally difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really tough. I very much admire people who are able to do that
Oh,
very honestly.
I want to keep this last minute to ask you other two question, just two suggestion to talk a bit more. I want to pass this 15 minutes in a way. It's not always 15 minutes. I like to break the rules. And what do you think actually is missed in the photography world? So in the world of photography, what is missed? What you think you deserve or other people deserve in this world?
In the world of photography.
Yeah.
Mm, I think I miss more collaboration between the photographers and the subjects, because I think especially with documentary photography, there's sort of this illusion that if you're behind your camera you can tell an objective story, and I don't think that's true. You always bring yourself and your own story and your own perspectives into the story that you're shooting or telling, and that will always be different from the one that you're the subject of your story. And so I think I would wish for more collaboration in how stories are told, from a more diverse background.
So this is really, I get in touch with what I do usually as a photographer. Uh, Especially in the last year, I developed this kind of agency. I mean, it's just a collaboration with other photographer. And when I go to doing a work, when I propose a work for a client, I always propose to work with a team. So then I get other 3, 4, 5 photographers, depends of the work. And for every client, for every different work, I always propose this documentary project, as I go there as a main photographer, but in the same way I have another person in front with me, two person in the back, another is doing the video, and there is this all different perspective that the client in a way or another has totally different picture. And I love that. I really love that. I love to work with other people. I mean, yeah, I think it's clear with the BEEX this project.
Yeah.
But I think, yeah, it's totally the point was missed in photography most of the time. There was too much the one point, only one point of photographer. And I think, yeah, in a way or another, as me as the main photographer in that case, for example, I don't see what is the really beautiful part. Is the real story. The real story is when someone else can catch me taking picture with someone else,
Yeah.
and there you are watching the story because you are watching the real story. I'm creating the story, because in a way I'm creating the story, and the one behind is documenting the story.
Yeah.
I will suggest you, I mean, this is, I'm talking to you about this because you can try to use this system, and then you let me know how was the system.
Yeah.
Just focus on one point. For example, also some months ago, I ran a project that for now I stopped because it's really difficult to go on. That's called Human. It's really basically, and I was just following people every week or every month here in Berlin, and I just got in touch with them randomly. And then I asked two other photographers to document my life during I was documenting the life of other. So then I had different photographer or videographer that was coming at my place to document my life, and it was so funny and crazy because I had a lot of different people was documenting me during I was documenting someone else, and then I was exchanging this connection. So then people I was following, then I connected with other people was followed me. It's these kind of maps of different connection.
Yeah.
So I think for today I give to you some suggestion, and anyway, to go back to your profile, I want repeat if someone want check more the picture of Sarah, can go on Instagram on sarah.fuchs, and I think that especially the last picture are so really interesting, totally different from the past picture I have seen. I mean, it's not a matter of beauty, but it's a matter of touching the reality, and it's really a work suggests me a lot. And I want say thank you for this calling. It was really nice to see you, and really, in a way, we can say in a digital way, we can say meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's a really fun initiative, and I love that it's like kind of just these short talks that yes, you get to connect with a lot of photographers that way.
Yeah, I love photographer. There are people really particular, really a lot of introvert and extrovert, or both, and a lot of stories, a lot of different way to approach. It's totally nice. So thank you a lot, and I hope to have another 50 minutes. We can say, I think I did the 30 minutes, but other 50 minutes with you in the future, because I think you have many other stories to say.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be more in the future as well.
So thank you a lot.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Learn more about our project at allmylinks.com/Berlin Explorer, or visit our Instagram and follow Berlin Explorer Project.